Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about 2025 goals. So I will be sharing all the goals that I have planned for this year. I will be talking in detail about them, about how I plan to accomplish them, and what I think I've learned about my 2024 goals. And I'll be doing so while drinking some coffee. I would love for you to think of this video as a chat between friends. Think that we are sitting at a table, maybe sitting, I don't know, at a park on a picnic blanket, depending on the weather, maybe on the sofa, and we are drinking coffee. We are maybe sharing like a bottle of wine, or maybe sharing some Argentinian mate, or maybe we both like tea. I want to think of this video as an opportunity to share something with a friend. I would love to know your 2025 goals if you want to share them down below in the comments. And for this to be an opportunity to be open, to be honest, to really share our feelings, our thoughts. So it's going to be a very, very personal video. I don't think I have ever outlined all of my goals for the upcoming year in such detail as I plan to do on this video ever in my 15 years online. So it's a video that's definitely a first of its kind. So definitely get ready for this. But first of all, if you're new here, hi, my name is Flor. I live and work here in New York City, and I love creating content around life in the city, about places that you can get to know, to explore with me, or maybe get some ideas for your next trip to the city. And I also talk about my work as a content creator. I share behind the scenes of what this job is really like in case you're interested. And I also share bits and pieces about my personal life, such as being a first-time mom, all about the books that I'm reading, and everything in between. So if you like any of this and you're still not subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell so you can get notified of every time that I upload a new video. And if you haven't watched my video about my 2024 goals, I suggest you go ahead and watch that video either right before or right after this one. In that one, I share what my 2024 goals were and whether or not I accomplished those, and what I feel that I have learned from my goals from last year. With all that being said, I am not going to drink some coffee, of course, and now we are going to get started. So this year, I have to say that I have lots of goals, and before you get mad at me having so many goals, let me tell you that some of them are really simple, really to the point, really easy in a way. So I think it's okay having lots of goals. I'm gonna count them. I think I have like around 30 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25. I think I have 31 if I've counted correctly, but we're gonna get to the exact number by the end. So this year, same as last year, I divided my goals into several categories, and I'm going to be sharing them before we begin with the goals. First one is academic. Second one is content creation, which is nowadays my main job and my main source of income. Then I have another one for family. I have another one for finance, another one for friends, another one for health, another one for home, another one for leisure, another one for my new business, and my last one is called personal. So you'll see there are lots of categories, but I basically want to cover every area of my life, whether that might be work, free time, family, friends, and everything in between. So with that in mind, let's get to my first goal. So goal number 1 is to maintain a Duolingo streak on German. So as you know, we used to live in Germany, in Munich, for 2 years, since the end of 2019 until the end of 2021. Before moving to Germany, and while I was there, I started learning this new language that I didn't even know a word before. And even though we left Germany now 3 years ago, I wouldn't say fell in love with the language, because I feel like it's not necessarily a language that you fall in love with, but I certainly kind of liked it. I used to hate it when I first started studying, and now I feel like as you learn more and more, you see how the words make sense, how everything kind of falls into place. So I've been practicing German for over a year now, working mainly on Duolingo, and my goal for this year is to basically keep practicing every day or almost every day. I don't think that learning German and maybe at some point being bilingual is really going to impact my future or the life that I want for myself or that I see myself having in the next few years, but still it's something that I would love to get better better at, maybe even get proficient in German. So it's there, it's goal number one. Moving on to my second category, this one is called content creation. And I have quite a few goals here. This one being my main job, I think it makes a lot of sense that most of my goals are on this category. So the first one is to get to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think I said on my 2024 goals video that I would not write something like this down for a goal, and I did it again. But hear me out on this one. So last year I gained around 500 subscribers. So I went from 2,500 to 3,000 by the end of the year. And my goal for this year would be to get 1,000 more subscribers, which is not a lot compared to how many videos in total I've uploaded to YouTube and how long I've had this channel for. But also it's a lot compared to what I earned last year. It would be double the amount of subscribers. But I think it's possible, and I'll talk more about it when I go through some other goals. And I would love to see this happen and to really get to grow my audience at least a little bit. So I'm like, I don't know, I want to see this happen, but I also know it's complicated. But you can start by helping and sharing this video using the share button down below. You can share it on your stories, on your Twitter account, Instagram account, Facebook account, with friends, iMessage, WhatsApp. I don't know, maybe someone that you know might really like this video, might really like my channel, and you are the person that's introducing them to my content. So thank you in advance if you're doing that. The second goal that I wrote is very similar also to last year, and is to partner with a kids brand, high-end brand, a cruise, a hotel, or an airline. The why behind these categories is that they're brands or companies that I haven't worked as much in the past, even though I've worked on gifting opportunities with kids brands and with cruise brands and with hotels. It's never been a paid partnership from what I recall with any of those categories. And I've worked on paid partnerships with high-end brands, but with their fragrances divisions. And I would love to see myself working with clothing, with handbags. Those are products that I love for myself, that I buy myself, that I talk about, that I make videos about trends. You've probably seen them. And I would love to get to connect with those brands, with the people behind them, because I feel like my content does align with the brand. So here's to not only hoping, but working on getting those partnerships. This is not for this video, but I would love to do another video talking more about how to make goals into actions, how to make goals into plans, goals into systems, and how I'm working to make all of these goals a reality by the end of the year. Because if I talk about that on this video, it's going to be like a 3-hour long video, so more of a movie. But I would love to talk about that. Let me know if you like the idea. I would love to do another video talking about putting goals into action and getting to work, and what systems I have for that this year. Let me know down below in the comments if you would love to see that video. But yeah, that's one of my goals. Another one under the content creation category as well is to post 25 videos on YouTube. And this is something that I mentioned on my video of my 2024 goals. And it's that just writing down that I want to get a certain number of subscribers puts the power on someone else instead of myself. And that instead of that, what I should be doing is saying something like, I'm going to post a certain amount of times, and stick to that instead of expecting someone else to kind of discover my channel and subscribe. So this time around, I've decided to do both. To write down as a goal to get to 4,000 subscribers, but also to post 25 videos, and not only post those videos, but also videos that I love and videos that I am proud of. I don't want to post just because I'm doing it and because it's like some kind of deadline, but I really do want to share content that I am happy about, that I want to share it with the world because I'm proud of the filming, the editing, the script, or the kind of content content overall that I'm putting out there. For example, my video of the 2024 goals that I keep talking about, I was and I am really happy with that video. I feel like I had a good idea. It's something that I never done to go over every single goal. I talked about lessons. I talked about things that I did, that I did not, and I love how that video turned out, and I was very happy to hit publish. And I feel the same about this video right now, and I want to feel that about every single video that I post this year. I feel like it was not that I posted bad videos last year, but maybe there were like one or two where I was like just hitting a deadline and not really putting my best content out there. So this time around, I really want my videos to be intentional, to be meaningful, to bringing some value, for me to be proud, to be happy. So putting it out there, and also the goal of 25 videos, which we already have one down. It will be 2 with this one. And with the year having 52 weeks, I am talking around 1 video every 2 weeks, which I think it's doable. So there goes another goal. So another one that I have is for more and or New York Fashion Week shows. This is something that I also had last year, and I've talked about this, but I really do think that getting more shows or getting new shows that I've never attended before can sometimes mean that I'm creating good content, that brands and that PR agencies look at my content and that they like them, or that maybe they invited me to shows in the past and I did a good job, they like what I put out there and they want to invite me again. So I feel like it's a good goal to have, and something that really I have been working for many years, even before writing it down on my goals. Every year I'm like, I really want to work hard for more shows, for new shows this season. So having it in writing, I think it's perfect to really see it not every day, but to really see it over there on the list and work towards that goal. Another one that I wrote down was to post at least 3 times per week on Instagram. And this includes either feed posts or reels. And what I want to do more really is get more consistent. This is something that I feel was not really on my side last year. At one point when I was working on certain series, I feel like I was posting a lot more, and maybe twice per day, 3 times per day. But then I would go without posting for a week or 2. And even though I feel like not even the algorithm really knows what they want from us and from our content, I still think that creating and posting consistently is not only part of my job, but also a way of showing brands the type of content that I can create, also giving people the opportunity to discover my content if they don't follow me already, also giving me the opportunity to connect with my current audience, with maybe some of you watching this video that also follow me on Instagram. And finally, I feel like it's a challenge for myself. I feel like last year I had what I would describe as anxiety when it came to posting on my feed, mainly because I was giving it a lot of importance, and every time I posted I wanted it to be like monumental or something like really not life-changing, but with lots of information or something special. And I want to like take some of that pressure off myself and just maybe share more casual photos or more about my day-to-day life, or maybe start a series maybe similar to the ones that I did last year. So I don't have a specific plan for this one. I was watching a video about content creation on Instagram just yesterday, and I want to like review that and maybe write down some ideas. I have to be honest, I haven't started on this specific goal, especially because we are on, I think, week 3 of the year, and I still haven't posted much. I really just posted for my birthday and that was it. But I intend to post more photos, more carousels, more reels. So you can hold me accountable on this one. You can DM me or comment like, Flor, I haven't seen a post in a couple of days, we're waiting. I think that will be helpful. So that's another one of my goals. I also have 2 goals that come to money, and they are, one, a total of earnings that I want to make this year for content creation. I'm not sharing the specific number this time around. I've shared before about how much money I make and all that, not on this video, but there is a number that I would love to make this year when it comes to my earnings. It's an amount that I've gotten to in previous years, but above what I got last year. So ideally, I would like to get to this in 2025. And I also have another one about how much money I would love to make with YouTube AdSense in 2025. Want to do another video sharing exactly how much money I made with YouTube AdSense in 2024. Let me know down below if you would love to see that video. For me, I think it's just a bit more than I made, but definitely still something doable. I would also love to work on at least a number of paid partnerships with brands, especially considering my Instagram account, which is where I mainly do paid partnerships. I went on a lower number compared to last year just because I didn't achieve my goal last year. So I was like, okay, let's go down a bit and then see if we can make this happen. And again, put my energy towards making these partnerships happen, because at the end of the day, this is what nowadays constitutes the main bulk of my income and of my business. So really getting these paid partnerships is what makes it possible for me to keep on doing content here on YouTube, to keep on posting other reels, other posts, other photos everywhere else because of these partnerships that I get to have with brands, which always leads me to reminding you that if you love a creator, it doesn't have to be me, but if you have a favorite creator or a favorite number of creators, every time that they do a paid partnership with a brand, please support them, or maybe in your case, support me, because this kind of paid partnerships with brands is what really allows us to support everything else. The money that we use to pay for rent, the money that we use to pay for trips, even like a subway trip, the money that we use for meals, the money that we use for cameras, for lights, the money that we use for the clothes we're wearing. Basically, that money is our salary. The same way that any of you with a regular like 9-to-5 job have a salary that you use for all your expenses. Well, for us, these partnerships are usually what make that salary. So if you ever see a creator doing these partnerships, I would say go comment, go like that post, go click on that link, share it with friends, and do all that, because that allows us to create so many other things that we post and share for free because of those partnerships that we have with brands. I always say this when I share a paid partnership post. I share this on my Instagram stories because I love being transparent, but I also thought it would be a great reminder to share it right now that I'm talking about this. So now that you know, go support my posts, go support other creators every time that we do a paid partnership. Please and thank you. Last one that I have when it comes to content creation is to launch my Lightroom filter pack. This is something that I have been working on for, I want to say like 5 years now. I think the main idea came to me before the pandemic, and during the pandemic, I really worked on the actual filters. I worked on the images that I was going to use to sell them. I actually have a page on my website that it's kind of hidden, but someone found it, where I plan to sell my Lightroom filters. I don't know if it's something that people would love to buy right now. Maybe when I first talked about them 5 years ago, people were a lot more interested in them, and I completely get it. But maybe there's people that are interested in that. And even if they're not, it's a product that I feel like I produce up until like 85-90%, and then I stopped, and I'm like, why did I stop? Because the only thing that was missing from my end was creating a 2-3 page PDF guide explaining how to use the filter. That's literally the only thing that's missing. And maybe someone would even say, we don't even need that guide, because so many people sell their presets without a guide, and that works. But being the type of person that I am, I knew I wanted that guide. I never actually set out to do that. So that's why this pack of filters has never seen the light of day, except for this one person that found the page and bought the filters. So if it's you watching, great. You could be a great detective. But yeah, basically I really want to finish this and put it out there. And if it sells or if it doesn't, I don't really care. And it's not that I don't care, like I'm over it. No, it's like I want it done and finished and published, more like a personal accomplishment rather than wanted to make money. If I make money, I would be so happy for sure. But it's more that I really want to see this project finished because I started it so long ago, and I feel like every year I think about this, and every year a part of me feels like a failure because I could not see this project through. And I feel like that speaks to my character and me as a person, that I cannot get things done. So I would love to see this happen this year. Now, moving on to a different category, we're now going to be talking about family. And this time around, I wrote 3 kind of goals that I feel are very similar in a way to last year, but this time more specific. I wrote quality time with Julia, with my daughter, but specifically I want to do 12 mom-daughter dates. And what I mean by this is outings where it's just the 2 of us. So it can be going to the zoo, it can be going to a museum, going to the mall, going to a park, going to an event with a kids brand, going to play date. I don't know. It can be like many different things, but I want it to be just Julia and me. No husband, no Oreo, just the 2 of us. I have said this before. I don't think she'll remember any of this when she's older, but it's just that time really does fly, and I want to try to spend not only more time with her, but more quality time. So that's why this goal starts with a phrase like quality time with Julia. I really want to make the time in my life, in my schedule, to spend time with her. I'm sure you've seen this everywhere, but there's this like very famous quotes of people on their deathbeds, or people when they're like 80 or 90 years old, and they're like, what are your regrets, or what do you wish you had done more? And it's always more time with family, more time with friends, more time with loved ones, and never more time working. So I want to make a conscious effort to start with that now, when I'm in my 30s, when my daughter is just 2 years old, and not realize that I have not spent enough time with her when she's 15 or 20, or maybe living on her own. So I don't know, it might be a silly one, but I think it's important, at least for me. Another one that I wrote is to spend quality time with Tom, with my husband, and I specifically wrote again 12 dates. Could be day dates, which I don't know if it's a word, or it could be date nights. And I wrote these 2 options because, to be honest, not having any family close to us, both of us having all of our families in Argentina, we don't really have the chance of like calling a grandma or grandpa like, hey, can you take care of Julia tonight? Of course, we can hire a nanny or a sitter and someone to take care of her. And it's something that we want to do this year. We've never done it before. We're scared. But if not, I would still love for us to have just dates. And basically, that's my idea, to really plan to spend time just the 2 of us. I feel like as you grow older, if you're in a relationship, sometimes with everything else going on, it's very easy to fall into the routine and to not set time apart to be with your partner, with your special someone. And if you add kids into the mix, it gets even more complicated and more crazy. So really setting this time apart and intentionally spending time together and quality time together, I think it's important for me, for us. And I think that having this 12 dates with my daughter and this 12 dates with my husband, it's really not that much if you think about it. It's just 1 per month, and it doesn't mean that we don't spend time together the rest of the month, but it's just thinking, okay, at least once a month I want this to happen. It's really worth it, and it's going to be special in a way, without considering, of course, the times that it's the 3 of us that we're going somewhere, which happens every single weekend. The last one under the family category, I wrote to nurture relationships with my family abroad. So I said this earlier, my family, all of them live in Argentina, except for my sister who lives in London. So I really have to make an effort to have a relationship with people that live thousands of miles or kilometers apart. And it's not easy. It's not that I can say, okay, I'm having dinner at your place tomorrow, or come on over, or let's have coffee, or let's go somewhere. I miss a lot of birthdays. I miss a lot of like special dates. Even though I try to travel for a wedding or for a special birthday, I still know that I miss all the little moments in between. So I do have a WhatsApp group where I send photos and videos of Julia, of our daughter, of our life here. I share updates. I want them to be involved in a way. I want them to know whether we're doing something special, or I want them to know what the weather's looking like here. And if we're going somewhere, I want to share at least some of our lives, even if we are physically apart. But I feel like a lot of it falls on me. I don't know if it's the way that it should be or not, but it's the way that it is. I feel like in a way it has to come from me to share these updates, to want them to be part of what we're doing. And I feel like it's something that I have worked on since I first moved out of Argentina, and I intend to work more on it this year. Now moving on to finance, I wrote that I want to save a certain amount of money. Again, I don't want to share the specifics here, but I really want to save more money. This is something that I did definitely save last year. It was not written on my goals, but I did save money, and I want to save even more. Just because savings are what helps us if we have any kind of emergency. Savings are what will allow us to have a better life in the future. Savings are important, at least for me. Even though I like to go on trips and to buy nice things and to go out for dinner or things like that, I still think saving money is super important, and investing your money wisely is important for your future version of yourself. And yeah, I want to put more money into savings. Not that I haven't done it in the years prior. I have, fortunately, and I have seen my savings increase year after year. Especially I'm talking about this since moving to the US, but I still want to put it down in my goals, and I want to put more money into savings this year. I would love to do another video talking about how I save money and how I invest the money that I save and that I earn. If you want to know more about it, I'm not a financial expert by any means. I am still learning day by day and month by month, and I feel like with time I've gotten better at it. But I would still love to share what I know. Maybe if you're just getting started and you are super lost like I was a few years ago, maybe a video like this would help. Let me know down below if you would love to see that. Then moving on to friends, I wrote down two things: to nurture friendships in New York City and in Argentina. New York City, I mentioned this group of people that I see through book club. I consider them my friends, and I think they consider me their friends as well. Maybe most of them have more groups of friends. I don't have as many here in New York City, but still, I feel like we are friends in a way. We have a group chat and we talk about stuff. So I would love to work more on that friendship. Also abroad, I mentioned earlier that I was not able to see as many people as I wanted to when I last traveled to Argentina, and it was mainly because that people were not available to see me, which I have my thoughts on that, but we're not gonna talk about it. But there are people that really made the time and the effort to meet with me when I was there, to have coffee with me, and I really appreciate that. People that have met Julia, that have spent time with her. So there are definitely friends in Argentina who I talk to regularly and who I love dearly, and I would love to see more of them when and if I travel to Argentina, or if they travel to New York City, or maybe meet somewhere else in the world, and really nurture those friendships, really see them grow year after year. And I also wrote down to go on one girls trip. This is something that I did a couple of times in the past with friends in Argentina, but something that I have never done here in the US. I feel like up until last year, I didn't have a group of friends, like a solid group where I felt like a trip could be an option. But earlier this year, I sent into our book club a text along the lines of, hey, maybe we could do a trip this year. And the idea is picking up. I'm not sure if the trip is going to make it out of the group chat just yet, but maybe it's going to happen. We are talking about some ideas of things that we could do in summer, and maybe it's going to happen. I hope it does, because it's one of my goals. I also wrote down 4 things down in the health category. I wrote down that I want to get in better shape and get more tone and stay between a certain amount of kilos when it comes to weight. I'm not going to share the exact ones, but if you watch my video about my 2024 goals, you might have an idea. But basically, I want to get in better shape, be more strong, be more toned, be more healthy, feel better. I feel like losing weight last year really worked wonders for my physical and my mental health. It made me feel more confident with myself, with my body, also more light and more strong when working out. So it's not that I want to lose the same amount of weight that I lost last year, which I think was quite a lot, but I want to get to what I think could be more of my ideal weight. I also wrote down that I want to run a 10K at a happy and comfortable pace. This was also in my 2024 goals, if you remember correctly, and it's something that I did not accomplish. I stopped running at some point like end of the year, so I never got to run 10K, but I think it can happen this year. And I specifically wrote down a happy and comfortable pace because I don't want to be struggling or suffering. I really want to be happy and feel strong and feel fast, and I want my experience running a 10K to feel exactly like that. So hoping that that can happen and also working towards it. I also wrote down that I want to work out at least 3 times a week, and those could be walks, runs, Pilates, at-home workouts, or gym time. So basically staying active. I was kind of guilty of this last year, that there were days where I would do a lot, or I don't know if a lot, but I would go for a run or go for a really long walk or go to the gym. And there were other days where I would stay home working, editing, sitting on my butt all day long. And I can assure you that sitting all day long, it's not good for your health, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm trying to do this year is that if it gets to like 5-6 p.m. and I haven't worked out, because it can happen, there are days where I'm like literally like editing for 8 hours straight, I go to the gym, I do a 12-3-30 workout, just 30 minutes, 12 incline, 3 miles is the speed, and I do that. And it's something, it's time that I am spending working for myself, working for my body, working for my future self, for how strong I can be and how in a better shape I can be for the future, which I know sometimes sounds like so far away, like, oh yeah, I'll figure this out when I'm in my 40s or 50s. But I feel like really having a consistency and working towards getting a better shape starts now, whenever you're watching this, because I feel like your future self will definitely thank you for starting in your 20s or in your 30s rather than waiting and waiting and waiting. The final one that I wrote down was to stay as healthy as possible and to do checkup. And this is something that I also had in my 2024 goals, if you remember correctly, and that I worked on last year. And this year, that's the plan again. I have already scheduled my yearly checkup with my primary doctor, which is a basic general checkup. I also have my checkup scheduled with my endocrinologist, which is not something that everyone does, but in my case, I do need to see an endocrinologist every year. I also have my OBGYN appointment. I also have my dermatology appointment, which again, maybe for some other people might be every 2 or 3 years. For me, it's every year. And I do need to schedule my eye doctor appointment, and I think that would basically cover everything. And this is me telling you right now, please do that as well. Please schedule all your doctor's appointments. I feel like sometimes doing them in January or February, it's a great way to start your year. You can then like not think about that for another 12 months or so. I know sometimes it's not funny, it's not the easiest, or maybe it even gives you anxiety. I know a lot of people have health anxiety, but knowledge is power. And knowing whether or not you're on the right track, knowing whether or not your hormones, your blood levels, your whatever that might be are where they should be or not, it's going to give you the power that you need to either stay on course because you're doing great, or maybe change courses and do something else for your health, whether that might be eating more nutritious food or going for more workouts or taking a certain vitamin. So definitely do those checkups. I don't know if you're putting this down on your goals or not, but do your checkups, please. I wrote down 3 things under the home category, and we're getting to the end here. I know it's getting late. I wrote down to fix all the clothes that need fixing that I can do. I have like not a lot of things, but like 3 or 4 pants and a jacket and something else that needs some fixing. Maybe something in the waist or a pocket that needs fixing. Easy things that if I can do myself, I really want to do those, because maybe I'm not wearing these clothes as often as I would like to because they're not in perfect condition. And if I can't do those fixes myself, I would love to bring those things to a place somewhere where they can do it properly and in a professional way. But I want to work on them. I have things that I wanted to fix for like a year now, and I haven't worked on them. Maybe I worn them and I have like done like temporary fixes, but I want to do like proper fixes. So that's on my list. I also wrote down to sell or donate at least 25 things from our second closet. So this is not our main closet, but a second one in our second bedroom, where in my case, I have things that maybe don't fit me anymore or that I'm not wearing anymore. And I regularly go on this closet and I sell stuff or I donate stuff. And I certainly did donate over 25 items for sure last year, but I still want to do it more this year. It was not on my goal list last year and I did it, and it's now on my goal list and I still want to do it. So just a good reminder that things that no longer serve us, things that we no longer wear, that we no longer use, are better off with someone else that can give them a better use instead of just sitting in a random closet. I also wrote down to keep the house tidy and organized with daily and weekly cleaning and tidying. And this is pretty obvious one and something that I really did work on last year, but I never wrote it down. And what I mean by this is that sometimes what happens with me, and it has to do with my personality, I've been like this since I can remember, is that sometimes I leave things to get to the worst until I go back to like reset and cleaning and tidying. Not the cleaning, but really the tidying up. Sometimes like my desk is covered in things and then I'm like, oh, I need to tidy it. And I'm like, no, I should be working on the little things and tidying every single day so it doesn't get cluttered. Same with clothes, like I wash clothes and I dry them and then it's a big pile that gets bigger and bigger until I put everything back in the closet. And I want to get better at that. You know, when you're like, oh, someone's coming to visit or someone's coming for dinner and you're like, I need to run, I need to tidy everything. Well, I don't want it to be like that. I don't want to go crazy if someone's coming to visit. I want the house to be in a certain shape that I don't need to go crazy. And the only way that I can do this is that every single day I work just a little, maybe 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour, instead of leaving everything until Sunday or Monday or whatever that day might be, and then I have to be tidying up everything for like 3 hours or 4 hours. It's a silly thing really, but it's something that I really want to get better this year. So it's down there in my goals. I also wrote down that I want to do at least 6 trips, and they can be within the US or international. That's the only thing I wrote. It's under leisure. Yeah, I want to travel. It's not like a lot, but I still want to make 6 trips somewhere. Hoping that happens. I also wrote down under my new business the same things that I wrote last year in 2024, which were to launch a podcast. And this time I also wrote down and published 25 episodes and to launch 6 products. So these are the 2 main things that I want to work on for my new business this year. Launch the podcast, 25 episodes, which means around 1 episode every 2 weeks. And also 6 physical products, which means around 1 new product every 2 months. Will it happen? I hope so, because I really want to put lots of my energy onto this. I would love for this business in the future to become my main business instead of my content creation business, which I know I'm like throwing like a big thing out here, and I've never talked about this before, and I probably could talk more about this on a different video, but mainly what I want is to launch this business, launch this idea, which I think is a good idea, and to make it grow. We'll see how that goes. I have a plan for this. I haven't made any progress as of right now when I'm filming this, but hope that we can make it happen before the end of the year. Also wrote down under personal 4 different goals that I'm going to go by really quick. One of them is to do 1 new thing that I have never done before each month, which is something I feel like easy but also fun. There are things in New York City that I have never done before. There are things in life that I have never done before. So just try something different, something new every month. It could be going to a museum that I've never visited before. It could be shooting a video with someone that I've never shot a video before. It could be, I don't know, taking a class that I've never taken before. So it could be many different things. I feel like that's great and easy and fun about this goal. Also wrote down to read at least 18 books. I think I didn't have the books as a goal last year. I'm not sure. And I read around like 20 or something in like 2020, 2021. around 2022. 2023, I did not read that much, but I did read like around 20 last year. So I feel like 18 books, it's a good number. Also wrote down some form of daily meditation and have it as a weekly habit at least, which could be like morning pages or maybe some kind of like yoga, breathing exercises. I don't really know what this is, but I want to work on connecting more with, I want to say my mind, but really relaxing more and more thinking, more like, I don't know what the word is, but something that definitely makes me think more before doing, and that helps me relax and connect with my thoughts and my ideas instead of like stressing. We'll see how that goes. And then I wrote that I want to do 12 solo dates. I said 12 dates with Julia, 12 days with Tom, my husband, and now it's 12 solo dates. Just me, myself, and I going out and about in New York City or somewhere else. And I wrote down that it could include filming, like I could make a video out of this solo dates. But really what I want to do is more like go to a museum alone, go to have lunch alone, grab a book and read a book in a park. It could be like very simple things, but I really want to prioritize not only the time that I spend with my family, with my loved ones, with my friends, and all these things that I mentioned before, like work and make more money and stuff, but also look like inwards and have a better relationship with myself. And this is what the personal category means. I feel like sometimes we neglect the most important relationship that we'll ever have in our whole lives, and that is the relationship that we have with ourselves, because we are sharing this journey along ourselves for our whole life. So it's very important to nurture our soul, to have alone time, to do things that we like, that we enjoy, and not only do things with others, but also be comfortable and happy with our own existence and with just ourselves. And that's it. Almost fully dark outside, and we got to the end here. I really hope you liked this video, and I really hope you like me sharing all these goals. I said this before, but I've never been so open and so honest about each and every single one of my goals as I am being on this video. I don't know why, it just never happened. And this time around, I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this because maybe this video inspires you to go after your goals. Maybe this video inspires you to write down a list of goals. It can be one goal, 5, 10, 20, 30. It can be different categories. It can be just one category. But what I want for you watching this video and listening to me talk for like 45 minutes is that if there's one thing that you can take from this video, is that if there's something that you want to change in your life, if there's something that you want different, if there's something that you want to improve, to see your life go in a different direction, to have a different life for yourself in a year or two, you really need to set up goals, to set up systems, and to work for them. Nothing just happens. Things don't fall on our laps, at least not for me. So if you really want to see change, you need to start that change. You need to write those goals. You need to write down what you want in life and how exactly you are going to achieve those goals. So I hope this video was in a way inspiring. I hope maybe it was eye-opening. Maybe it gave you some ideas for your own goals. I would love if you could share down below at least one goal that you have for 2025. If you can share 5, 10, I would happily read all of them. I would love if we could all keep ourselves accountable on the goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the year as the year goes by, because I know that we all tend to forget them. I would really love to make other videos on the other topics that I mentioned before, like how much money I made on YouTube last year, also how I'm setting up systems and the apps I use and all that on how to make these goals into a reality. And also if you want another video talking about investing and saving and what I'm doing with my money. Let me know if any of those videos sound like something that you would like to watch here on my channel. And again, if you like this video, you can go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. You can also go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, and also share this video with anyone that you think might like it as well. That is going to be it for today's video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!